Hanuman Swamiji, when he made reference of himself to Bhagwan Sri Ram, there's a very beautiful verse that epitomizes this relationship between Hanumanji and Bhagwan Sri Ram. And in this verse, it is exactly the same relationship that we must understand that we have with God. Hanumanji said, Prabhu, at the level of the body, I am the servant and you are the master. Hanumanji is speaking to Bhagwan Sri Ram. He is Param Bhakta Hanuman. He is the ultimate devotee of the Lord Sri Ram. And he says, at the level of the body, I am the servant and you are the master. At the level of the intellect, hey Prabhu, I am part of you. But at the level of the spirit, hey Prabhu, I am you. Bhagwan is saying to us, Tulsidas has documented the words of Sri Hanumanji. He says, at the level of the body, we are separate. Are Prabhuji, hum dasa hu, you are the Lord and I am the servant. At the level of the intellect, I am part of you. But Lord, at the level of the spirit, at the highest level, I am you. Our very dearly beloved Swami Jai Satya this morning posted in anticipation of Hanuman Jayanti. These were Swamiji's words. Swamiji said, everyone is looking for God. But she says, go within and you would realize that God is the one that is looking. Think about it. Everyone is looking for God, but she says, go within and you would recognize that God is the one that is looking through you. Very beautiful, powerful statement by Swami Jai Satya. Devotees of God, when we look back at the history of Lord Hanuman, when we awaken the giant that exists within every one of us, do you believe that? Do you believe that there is a giant in every single one of you? One day Guruji was giving a lecture and he was saying, every human being is perfect. Every single human being is perfect. But there was one hunchback. You know what hunchback is? Everyone knows what hunchback is? In Trinidad we have a way of saying it. We say what? Bosi back. It's hunchback. And as the Panditji was speaking, he says every human being is perfect. And the hunchback got up and said, Sadhu, how could everyone be perfect? I have a hunchback. And the Swami, the Panditji said to him, he said, you have a perfect hunchback. Your hunchback is perfect. You see, my friends, many of us think lesser of ourselves. Some of us think that we are lower or lesser than other people. Some of us suffer with a complex. You know what a complex is? It is something that is calibrated in the mind. It is some logic in the mind that says some of us are different from others. The minute that we differentiate one individual as being better or lesser than the other, that is the voice of the ego. You see, the ego tells us that I am separate from you. I am different. I am better. But when we examine the Lord Sri Hanumanji's life, we recognize that there is a common giant that exists within every one of us. On Hanuman Jayanti Day, when the world celebrates the birth anniversary of the Lord Sri Hanuman, what are we celebrating? It is the awakening of the giant that exists within all of us. It is that awakening that says, today, Lord, I know that I can conquer, I can become all that I want to become. On this morning, Shanti Vandana, for those of you who listen, let's test. Our theme was converting your scars in life to stars. Jai Ho. I know who want to listen to the program this morning. Hanumanji's life is about converting the scars in your life into becoming the stars in your life. Every single human being will have a challenge. Every single human being will have a rough spot, so to speak, in our life. Every single human being will experience a little hurdle to overcome in life. This morning I reminded you that for those engineers and scientists who created the airplane, there's a certain weight that is calculated based on the fuel, based on the body of the aircraft, based on the number of passengers, the maximum weight that an aircraft can carry. And the engineers will calculate the length of the wings and the width of the wings of that aircraft. Simple aerodynamics calculation on the science of flotation. It calculates very carefully, and if that aircraft's wings are not in the proper ratio, then that aircraft will not be able to fly. But I reminded you this morning that a simple bee, honeybee, bumblebee, Africanized killer bee, all bee, every single bee defies the logic of science. You know why? Because the weight of the bee's body is so much greater than what the wings can tolerate, both from a strength point of view as well as the dimension of the wings of the bee. Scientifically, it is proven that that bee could never fly. But does the bee fly? Absolutely. You know why? Because the bee has no clue. The bee doesn't know that scientifically it cannot fly. But Bhagwan created that intent in the mind of the bee. Yes, the bee has awareness. The bee is connected to this higher awareness. And the bee, because the bee is not aware that scientifically it cannot fly, the bee only has a desire to achieve, to fly, to go and pollinate one flower to the other. And because of that intent, the bee can defy logic. My friends, Hanumanji in our life, he is exactly that way. Hanumanji, it is that giant that is waiting to become awakened. It doesn't matter what your history was. It doesn't matter what people say you cannot do or you can do. Once your mind can fathom it, the man can achieve it. And that's the awakening, my friends, of the Hanumanji in our life. Hanumanji is the conversion of the scars, the history of the scars, and converting them into looking towards the stars. Please join with us as Tulsidas gives us in this very beautiful verse of the Hanuman Chalisa some of the attributes of the Lord. Please join with us. Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Ram Jaya Rama. Your voices. Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Sukshma Rupe Dhari सियाही दिखावा विकट रूप धरी लंके चढ़ावा. बोलो श्री राम जय रामा जय जय रामा. बोलो श्री राम जय रामा जय जय रामा. भीम रूप धरी असुर संहारी रामचंद्र की काज सवार. बोलो श्री राम जय रामा जय जय रामा श्री राम जय रामा जय जय रामा. बोलो श्री राम जय रामा जय जय रामा श्री राम जय रामा जय जय रामा. प्रेम से बोलो श्री पवन पुत्र हनुमान की. Hanumanji, notwithstanding his history, notwithstanding the questionable past, I want you to recognize something about Hanumanji this morning. Hanumanji never for a moment depended on external factors to validate what his life was about. Never for a moment, even when he was the servant of Sugriv, even then he was very confident on what he was about. When he became the servant and the disciple of Bhagwan Sri Ram, he never questioned for a moment. He may have questioned things around, but he never questioned for a moment that which motivated him to do what he had to do in life. Today, my friends, sometimes the value that is known as Satyam in the Vedantic teachings, the word that is known as Satyam, what is Satyam? Satyam is truth. Satyam not necessarily means speaking the truth only, but Satya means living the truth. It means that your value system, that which causes you to think the way you do, that which causes you to be calibrated in your mind, in the logic of your mind, that, my friends, it is where Hanumanji operates from. That is never shaken. You see, one day someone said to me, Panditji, oh, you are such a good speaker. Oh my gosh, smiles too bad. Oh, she smiles. Young boy growing up. And then the next day I went to do satsang in New Jersey City. And after I was finished, now learning, Panditai. So I was finished temple, come out thinking, oh, really did a good job. One senior Panditji said, hey, you boy, what foolishness you speaking. Smiles went to frown. I'll tell you a little secret. I cried all the way home. But the moment I sat back in my silence, I recognized that it didn't matter if someone praised me or criticized me. There is a reason why I do what I do, and that could never be shaken, whether I am complimented or I am criticized. And today I'm asking you, the very first attribute of Hanumanji I want you to think about this morning. It is to ask yourself, why do you do what you do? Why is it that you feel a sense of purpose and fulfillment when you do certain things in your life? Where other people benefit from your actions and your presence in this world. And if you are criticized or if you are flattered about it, my friends, operate like Hanumanji, because it really matters not. And in this very beautiful chopai of Hanuman Chalisa, Sukshma Rupa Dhari Sehi Dikhawa, Vikata Rupa Dhari Lanka Jharava, Bhima Rupa Dhari Asura Sanghari, Ram Chandra Ke Kanj Sarvari. You know what this verse tells us? It tells us another attribute of Hanumanji. It says, though Sukshma Rupa Dhari Sehi Dikhawa, when you appeared before Sita Devi, what was your size? Very, very small. You were hiding in the trees like a little mosquito, watching Sita Devi. Are Bikata Rupa Dhari Lanka Jarava. But when you burned down Lanka, you appeared in a very fearless form. Are Hanumanji, Bhima Rupa Dhari Asura Sanghari, Ram Chandra Ke Kanj Sarvari. And when there was time to destroy the Asuras, the demons, you took a very colossal, Are Mahavir Bajrang Bali, Swami Hanumanji. Hanumanji shows the world that we must be transient, we must be dynamic in our interactions with the world. Sometimes, you see, Hanumanji, we confuse two qualities of Hanumanji. Hanumanji is known as the one who is very humble. And then we hear, Bala Buddhi Vidya Dehu Mohi. We hear Hanumanji is also Bal. What is Bal? Strength, powerful, strong. But sometimes we forget that Hanumanji, when the time requires it, you have to exercise Bal, strength. And there are other moments that we must exercise, not weakness. We must exercise always humility. You see, sometimes people confuse humility with weakness. When you think someone is humble, sometimes people think that they can take advantage of that person. Hanumanji is showing the world that you must understand when to dispense of certain traits. While you must always be humble, never weak, Hanumanji says, always be humble, but you must know when it's time to stand up and exercise strength and defend what is right. Devotees of God, I want to remind you of something. There was one sadhu, he was sitting by the side of the street. And this young man was very intellectual, very academic. He looked at the sadhu and he said, "Oh sadhu, why are you wasting your life? Sadhu," and like this he started criticizing and insulting and chastising and putting down the sadhu. And when he ran out of things to say, when he couldn't think of anything negative again to say, the sadhu looked at him and he said, "Son, when someone offers you a gift and you do not accept that gift, to whom does that gift belong?" Huh? The young man looked at the sadhu and he said, "Obviously, it belongs to the person who was giving it." And the sadhu says, "Jai Ho, everything that you have offered to me this morning, I have not accepted. So to whom does those gifts belong?" You see, my friends, Hanumanji is not only about standing up and fighting. That is a time for that. But when you look at the strategy of Hanumanji, Hanuman Baba always started with tact and diplomacy. He used words. You see, there are different types of bal. One of these days I will give you the 5 descriptions of strength. But the very first form of bal, it is manobal. It starts with strength, resilience within. But there's another form of bal that Hanumanji mastered. It is called vachan bal, the power and the strength of your words. You see, my friends, when you are to awaken the giant inside of you, it is not to stand up and destroy and to use physical strength, but you must start with manobal. Know that you have that resilience inside of you. That is manobal, but you must also use strategies of words when you are interacting with others. If you want to conquer, you must also be discreet. Remember, in the art of war, the best way to win a war, it is to not go to war. And that simply means if you can achieve your objective without fighting, then you are the truest of those conquerors. Today, please join with me as I share with you very briefly this morning. We can speak until Hanuman Jayanti, but today I would like to share with you one more quality of Hanumanji. That means we should be awakening the giant, awakening that powerhouse that exists within all of us. Another verse of the Shri Hanuman Chalisa. Please join.
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Ram. Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Bolo.
Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Ram. Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Om Tuma upkar sugrivahi kinha. Ram milai raj pad dina.
Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Ram. Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Om tumharo mantra vibhishan mana. Lankeshwar vai sab jag jana.
Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Ram. Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Bolo.
Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Ram. Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Ram. Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Ram. Siya Ram.
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. प्रेम से बोलो श्री पवन पुत्र हनुमान की। तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा। राम मिलाए राज पद दीन्हा। तुम्हारो मंत्र विभीषण माना। लंकेश्वर भई सब जग जाना.
Very beautiful. Tulsidas describes Hanuman. He says, Hanuman Baba, as a result of your benevolence, as a result of your beneficence, he says, Sugriv, he met Ram Bhagwan. And Sugriv regained his throne. Also Hanumanji, तुम्हारो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भाई सब जग जाना. He says the world already knows that Vibhishan became the king of Lanka because of you. Oh Hanumanji, these are your attributes. And today as I conclude this very simple introduction into awakening the giant within you, I remind you of a quality that says this. The greatest leaders in this world are not those who have the most disciples, but the greatest leaders in this world are those who can create the most leaders. In the world of Sanatan Dharma, spirituality means independent thinking. Spirituality means freedom from within. Spirituality means understanding, as Hanumanji indicated, Prabhuji, at the level of spirit, I am you. There is no following again. You start dwelling in spirit. But what does it mean? It simply says, if you are to become a giant in this world, in whatever field you are in, my friends, you must do it in such a way that other people will benefit based on your action. Anytime we execute, we live our life in such a way that we are defined as giants while other people are lesser, that, my friends, it is not the giant of Hanuman awakening, that is the giant of the ego. And here in this very beautiful Chopai, Tulsidas is documenting, he says, Sugriv, he became king again. He regained his kingdom because of the work and the presence and the contribution of Hanumanji. Vibhishan, the younger brother who was kicked out, just like Sugriv was kicked out by Bali, Vibhishan was kicked out by Ravan, he was resumed as king of Lanka by the Lord Sri Ram because of the action of whom? Hanumanji. Hanumanji did not get the credit of reinstating Sugriv, it was Bhagwan Sri Ram. Hanumanji did not get the credit of instating Vibhishan, it was Bhagwan Sri Ram. But Hanumanji was the worker that made everything happen. And as I conclude this morning, this message about awakening Hanumanji's giant within every one of our life, it simply says this, my friends. Whenever you interact with this world, you must be that selfless servant. Don't deserve or don't desire credit for what you do. Do it and do it selflessly. And do it in such a way that not you will benefit. Absolutely, you will always benefit from a karmic standpoint. But whenever you do something for someone else, do it so that they can benefit, they can progress, they can awaken the giant within them. That's the rule of Hanumanji. And in the process, my friends, you become a bigger and better human being because of it. Today, if we can emulate these qualities of Hanumanji, then Hanuman Jayanti, this coming Tuesday, will be something of significance to celebrate within our life. Prem se bolo Shri Pawan Putra Hanuman ki